I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Alright, there we go. Hello, welcome to my tube. My name is Margie. I am a Heyoka empath. I like having these little talks on the way I feel about things and being Heyoka. It is not easy to not feel ways about things. Anyway, weird day. Weird day. I was just thinking, Mom and I were watching season 6. We're up to season 6 on Big Bang Theory. It's a pretty funny show. We like it. Every now and again I'll hear Mom do a bust out with the big old belly laugh. Huh, Ma? You like it? It's funny? It's a good cast? Did you say it's light? It's just fun. It's just lighthearted, light-spirited. So, anyway, I had like a list of 3 things I wanted to talk about, and as soon as I hit start streaming it, they all freaking left my head. So, I was thinking about just things that I think about, you know, and as the world is changing so fast, every day it's just, woo! You know, and I'm kind of like Sheldon. I don't like change a lot, but this incarnation doesn't care because I'm supposed to learn lessons in this life, so it doesn't care. Earlier I was thinking about when I was walking the dogs around after dinner. I was like, how is it that some people can make their lives exactly how they want it? Some people can do that for short periods of time, but then it, like, I don't know, it blows up. And the only thing that makes sense to me is like, I don't know, my own personal experience, because everybody else is just a storyline. It's just, you know, but it ain't my story. I only have my story. And my story is like, Artie, why are you licking your fingers? Do I need to trim your nails? My story, my life experience, I'm supposed to learn how to relinquish control. Because I worked real hard to go into the Air Force so I could go to college. See, that was my plan. Because I screwed off. Because I was a drunk. Because I drank to mask my emotions that I wasn't ever willing to look at or deal with. And then once I came to terms with all that stuff, then, you know, I kind of don't have a reason to drink anymore. And this life isn't about just me. You know, I got my little family here, and when I drink, and I do it for oblivion. And there's a lot of people like me. They just have a lot of people that cover up for them, that enable them to live their lives, you know, and create havoc and all this destruction. But that's okay, because they were just drunk, you know. It ruins people's lives, but that's always been okay for years and years and years. You know, there's that time of Prohibition when it was illegal, and you had the gangsters that still had their speakeasy, their underground clubs and stuff like that. And you know what I was going to talk about, Mom? Ever since I'm going to change I'm going to switch gears completely. I'm going to talk about how I've always been like a scientist, a behavioral scientist. Like, I always watch people. I'd sit back and watch and wonder why they acted the way they acted. In all kinds of situations, you know? And in every room you had someone that was in charge, you know? You have all these archetypes. in every situation. So how many situations are there in life, right? If you just have these certain designated archetypes. And the control freak, the frequency, and when I say freak, I don't mean F-R-E-A-K, I mean F-R-E-Q for short, frequency. It's that vibrational frequency that people have in themselves that they have to designate how things go all the time. I don't like to be in control. I would like to not be in control. But there are certain things that I need to be in control of. I need to know what time it is, because every couple hours mom gets low blood sugar and she needs to eat something. So I need to be, she can't go too long, more than like 3 hours. Our little faces, when we start getting our low blood sugar, our faces like droop. You can see it. You can see that in anybody if you've ever experienced that yourself. So I notice a lot of things because I've had a lot of life experiences. I know when people are in need of something, even if that is a vent session. Even if that's a session that you can speak freely about anything you like, I ain't gonna think less of you. Just get that stuff out of your head. So many people have all these freaking negative thoughts freaking just flowing around their head, and they don't. And a lot of times, if they freaking just set them just to get them out, it reduces the it gives them less power, and it makes them less significant. And people don't even get an opportunity to do that. I think that's why you see so many people walking down the street. I have conversation. I'm always talking to myself in the van when I'm driving down the road. I'm frequently talking to myself, just hashing it out, Like, man, this doesn't make sense. Front page of the paper to just say is like, are they going to implement restrictions again? Of course they are, because they're oh so predictable, because these people are mental midgets and they are oh so predictable. The people that are in charge, man, they're not that smart. They just have longevity. They just have put themselves in the same position to be in the jobs where they get to make these decisions year after year after year, because ain't nobody that a person of integrity that has actually gone out, lived life, they're ever allowed to run. I'm going to run for something. One day, I am. Yeah. Because I what are the things that I am for? Stopping human trafficking? All this weird stuff with kids? Dude, the freaking man that calls himself the freaking president, that poor little girl, man. Keep children away from that old creepy latch. Every time they put him in the presence of children, these children are very uncomfortable, which makes me uncomfortable watching it. It's just, it ain't cute. Stop using kids, man. Stop using kids. They use kids in their pageantry and their games, and it's just like, it's disgusting. That Arizona senator, all these perverts, man. Okay, who's not a pervert? That is in a position of authority of power. I mean, all these firemen, police officers, school teachers, all walks of life. It's not just the creepy dude, freaking, greasy guy. It's senators. It's the ego. It's a dissonance in their mind. They can do whatever they like. They played games when they were a kid, like, ooh, if you hit a pedestrian, it's 10 points. Whatever. People would play. I'm like, why is that funny? I was that person. People would, I'm all for playing games and making up games and having a good time. But when people do weird stuff, I don't don't even make it fun for them to want to do it around me, so then they quit inviting me, and which is fine by me because I don't want to be around their creepy creeper 10 know-how. So I'd rather, and I think about, that just occurred to me, of all the things I don't get invited to is because I make open declarations that, well, I'm a person for God, Holy Spirit, and I'm not into that weird, twisted nonsense. Chasing sensations. These people are have the mentality of 14-year-olds, man. They have just been given the power to do whatever they want their whole entire lives. Now they're just they're in their 50s and 40s and stuff like that. And they live their lives like nobody's, they're oh so discreet. But then the narcissistic part of them is just I'm going to do this stuff right in front of their faces so everybody knows. And then, of course, they take somebody off, and truth always comes out. Mom's been freaking drilling that into my thick skull since I was a little girl. Truth always comes out. Got to the point that I'd do stuff when I was a kid. I couldn't sleep at night. I'd go in and I'd be like, Mom, I did this today. I'd tell on myself. There wasn't anything that she could ever take away from me because we never really had much. Maybe she'd say, okay, well, you can't go out to coffee, because from the time I was 15, we go out and have coffee. We drank coffee until at Harry's or Denny's or whatever, eat ranch with French fries with ranch. I was thinking about that. I'm like, there is not a restaurant in this town that you can I don't think that you can sit down and have a plate of French fries with ranch dressing. I don't know. I live in a place that is just not real familiar to me. It's different than any other place I've ever been. It's primitive. I feel like I live in 1996. So when people think that time travel ain't possible, just go to different parts of the country that are stuck in the past. That have always just done the same thing because that's just how it's always been done. But that's not how the earth moves, and that's not how things get better. And I think it's funny, this whole infrastructure bill that they just signed, 1.2 gazillion whatever. It's just this is what, the man has been in these positions to vote on this stuff for 41 years, and they've always been voting this money into infrastructure. The only thing is they never do the work. They buy themselves new trucks, and then they use the new trucks to go out and drive under a nice big old shade tree, get a big old lunch, stuff their faces, take a nap, and then maybe go trim some limbs for a couple hours in the afternoon, then go home, and then tell their wives how terribly hard they worked, and that they should just be, and it's just I thought it was the funniest thing. When I was in the Air Force, I would just watch people freaking sit around all day. And I know for a fact that in the last 20 years, it hasn't gotten better. And General Milley or whatever, that dude that said that freaking the general that has been a general for also in the military, 41 years, guess what? When's the last time your fat ass got up and walked a mile? I said this on Twitter too. Your readiness is shit, okay? And it's just all about business. It's all about money. People don't matter on this earth. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's the Latter-day Saints. It doesn't matter if the Jesuits. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's in every continent, there's a group of freaking assholes that freaking want to control things. They have this hierarchical mindset that they're at the top and freaking piss on everybody else. Okay? That muskrat dude, his storylines like him drive me crazy. He doesn't have jack shit. Nothing he has. Nothing. He's a little bitch from South Africa whose mommy gave him a bunch of money and said, stay busy, you weird, twisted-minded, odd dude. Sid's my ass, first son. We know who you are, muskrat. We know who you are. You creep. And I see these freaking scumbags driving around in his cars, and oh yeah, they were everywhere in Oregon. I was like, no, they're not gonna seep into New Mexico. Nope, yep, they're freaking, holy hell, they're here too. And so the people that drive those cars, why? Because a weird freaking spoiled rich brat freaking made them, so you had to have one too, because you can plug it in, they're electric. Those batteries, you know what's going to happen to every one of those batteries? They don't last forever. Batteries don't last forever. They ooze, they seep. Because that's the thing is, old boy Muskrat, he don't care what happens to the batteries when he's done with them. He'll throw them in the ocean. Heck, he don't care. He'll be in Mars. Good riddance, Muskrat. Good riddance. These people are just allowed to go around and do whatever they want. So how come? So more and more people are getting these ideas, and you see it in the news because people don't have that voice. They don't have that higher power. They don't have that connection to Holy Spirit God that says, you don't hurt people. You don't do weird stuff with kids. You let kids be kids and let them grow up slow. And don't push your ideologies on them. And don't let them wear makeup when they're 7 and look like little hoochie mamas. Because a lot of times they end up pregnant by their time they're 15. You're feeding into their paradigm. Get them a little baby doll. Blah. You know? Things were a lot different when I was a kid. When I was a kid, man, I don't know. I guess, look, Stanley's going up the ladder. That's his cat tree. That's his indoor cat tree. I love when he uses it. He goes up and downs it. Ups and downs it. Up and down. He's not in the mood. So, I don't know. It's weird. When I was a little kid, like if someone came forward, like I was a tomboy, you know, and I ran with my shirt off all the time, you know, and I always acted like the guys that I just watched around, you know, and pretend like I smoked cigarettes and stuff like that, and then later I smoked cigarettes and then I quit because that's a very just low vibrational behavior. And but it was like, I don't know, I guess I was like 8 or 9, and they're like, no, she can't run. They're like, no, because my period started when I was 9, so I was starting to develop, so I couldn't run around with the t-shirt on anymore. But I completely understood why, you know. But you know, and just like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to freaking, you know, pee in the woods and not have to go in and squat and splatter all over yourself and stuff like that. That'd be cool, you know. But play the tape through. I ain't gonna freaking mess with what God gave me. If I can't live freaking, you know, as long as I'm gonna live in this incarnation with what God gave me, I'm just gonna come back in my next life and He's gonna give me more of what I got. And I worked pretty hard to freaking get rid of a lot of the karma and transmute a lot of the low vibrational freaking frequencies which that I've been attached to, you know, that I've had to rise above from my life experience. You know, that's what it is. That's what this is about, is freaking releasing what no longer serves you, you know. For years I drank. The consequence didn't, you know, as much as I like it and as fun as it is, it don't match out for me. You know, it caused too much pain. Not just for me. For other people that I don't even think about. But I don't know. And you know, a lot of my old eating habits, you know, this is all this stuff, you know, just like wanting to get involved with girls that are just freaking fucking dicks, man. See, like, parents, like, usually people, like, go after, you know, the relationship patterns are modeled either after, like, personality characteristics of, like, their mom or dad. I didn't model mine after my mom or dad. Mine was after characteristics. I liked Mean Girls because that's what my brother was, like, a mean girl. Oh, he's a Virgo. It's feminine energy. That's why. And when I talk about signs and stuff like that, don't anyone ever think that I don't recognize the other side in which I'm talking about, even though I don't specifically state it at that time, maybe. But I also understand my freaking shadow aspects of myself. And yesterday I was talking about, like, Virgos that are in balance, you know? And that ain't even all Virgo. I was like, my favorite guy on the planet is a Virgo. He's a very balanced Virgo. He has a spiritual program. He's got a spirit. He believes in something bigger than himself. You know, he's got, you know, and just like, so people, I hope they get the comprehension that I just freely speak in a general way on these talks. So if anybody ever picks up anything that they think I'm saying that is directly to them, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know who watches these. You know it? So I got to answer this real quick. Anyway, I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, Mom, these people that are in charge of, like, the purses, the money of, you know, who gets what, and the systems and all this stuff, it's like, they don't got the good ideas, Ma. Ma, they don't got the good ideas. It's the people that have had to freaking, you know, float a 20, like me. We got the good ideas. Us that have floated a freaking 20-cent balance for 12 days because you can't afford the overdraft, you know, all this stuff. People have to budget, scrimp, and save and get by, you know? You got these people up on top, man. It's this hierarchical mindset. And I've seen it my whole life. It used to be when we were, like, get food from the mission or the church, you know, Mom? And they had the food pyramid on the back. It's always about the pyramid. It's like that, it's that early programming. It's that, you know, it's like, I used to think, who could eat as much as the USDA's daily, you know, recommended, you know? No wonder all these people are freaking so colossal. They were just going by recommendations, but that's for people that, like, move their ass, and people don't really do that anymore, man. I can't wait. I'm hoping the whole fitness thing is going to come back. I really am. I really want to see people. I legitimately want to see people feel better. And if you lighten your load, and that's the thing, is you got to talk about your stuff. You got to have those triggers, and you got to go down those dark alleys, and you got to talk about your stuff. Because that is what is literally physically weighing people down. Their spirit is all that low vibration. It don't matter what you did. You don't have to act that way anymore. And you can make it right. Yeah, you might spend some time in prison if it's like something that's like super shitty, you know. But I think about all the people that have done some really shitty stuff and they ain't in prison. And I think about a lot of people that haven't done things that have been so bad at all, and they're in prison. So, guess you got to take your lunch. It's like, you know, that's one thing I got from hanging out with those friends of Bill W., those mutual acquaintances, is making up for what you did before, man. And not saying I'm sorry, but just changing your behavior. How many people can't change their behavior and want to? There's parts of I got personality character defects that I gotta be cognizant of every day not to live in. Put it right here. Don't be a jerk, Marge. Don't be curt. These are things that I don't like about myself. And trying not to project those on other people too. You know, that ain't easy to do as a Heyoka. Because I see an asshole in the room, that asshole he's like drawn to, it's or she, it ain't gender specific. I don't speak in gender. It's a human thing. People can just suck. And if and I'm like, dude, man, I don't want no beef. I don't want no trouble with nobody. People like to freaking put it right in my lap sometimes, so what do you do? So what else is going on in the world? Fire still going on in the skies? Can you see the mountain today, Ma? Huh? Hadn't seen the mountain in like 3 days, and it's only 20 miles from here. The actual Tau Ski Valley to the north. And so that's 20 miles visibility they didn't have. It's cool, man. It's been nice. Leo season. We're in Leo season now. Western wise. And it's good to be. I'm seeing more people outside. I go to the park. There's more people at the park. There's people next door playing basketball. Just getting their heart going. We were talking about that at the coffee shop this morning. I was like, where's so-and-so? He's out baling hay. And I was like, good. You know, he's 28. I'm like, people don't get their heart going. And that's why everybody has heart attacks, is because they don't get moving enough. That their heart rate. Man, I remember when they put me on the Chunky Chicken Club when I was in the Air Force. I ran on the cross trainer for an hour. Monday through Friday. I'd get to the gym. My alarm was set at 4:07. I'd hit the snooze once. I get up at 4:17, get dressed, and have to walk to the gym because I got a DUI and couldn't drive. So I was hoofing it all over base. I couldn't drive on base. And so I walked to the gym, get there, and because sometimes they unlock the door as early as 4:45. And I'd run on that cross trainer on level 10 for an hour listening to The Offspring because it was really fast paced. And I did that for 6-7 months because these fat guys told me that I needed to lose weight. That's why I'm so adamant about this, is because partially it's because these fat guys put me on this weight management program, and so I busted they put me on it in tech school, and then when I got to off it, they started it from 0 day one. So I was like, I went to Greece. That is funny. I kind of slid under the radar because I always look younger. Not with great it is. I can't get away with stuff as much anymore. But I don't think look like I'm knocking on 50's door. But I was a slick sleeve. I was an airman basic. I was like the lowest ranking freaking oldest airman basic and probably all the Air Force, you know. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm a stickler about that, is because they freaking, and I got off it, you know, and these guys, they stayed on it. Now I don't even think that exists anymore because, oh shoot, they're all freaking, they look terrible in their uniforms. It's awful what people just let themselves go in all over. They just stop caring. They stop caring. I guess it's just easier to freaking consume things to make yourself feel better than going out and doing the actual foot prayers and doing the work to make your lives different, you know. And props to the folks that are making your lives different. Good for you. That you're doing a little something today that's a little bit different than you did yesterday, and it's probably going to be a little different, and then maybe tomorrow you'll do something a little bit different too, you know. So good on you. That are my own